Hi everyone, it's Chef Diane from Farm Box Kids. Again with another Kids Cook Along. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I can't wait to get started. So before we get started, let's just talk about what we're making today. We're making a yogurt parfait with an easy no-bake granola. So a lot of you might have already made parfaits in the past, but I'm gonna show you how to make it healthier. I'm gonna show you how to make it delicious. And it's gonna be a terrific snack or a lunch, breakfast, something you can make ahead. But we have a few ingredients that we'll look through. But just a reminder, these cook-alongs are designed to be 30 or less of cooking time. And they're designed to empower you to have confidence in the kitchen. So I hope that you are learning great skills that you'll be able to use for the rest of your time in the kitchen, cooking for your family, and beyond. So thanks again for joining me today. I want to say hello to Gabrielle's on again today. Hello, Gabrielle. Nice to see you. And Anya. Hello, my little chefs. I'm so happy to cook along with you today. If you haven't started with hand washing, remember, go ahead and get those hands washed. Anytime you touch anything icky, sticky, ooey gooey, you want to wash as well. We have some icky, sticky, gooey stuff today, so make sure that you are staying nice and clean while you're cooking. Let's talk about the ingredients that you'll need today for your yogurt parfaits with the easy granola. So, of course, you're going to need yogurt. And this is going to be, we want to kind of look at the nutritional value of this healthy snack because a parfait can really start to rack up on calories and sugars if you're not careful. So when I look at my yogurt, and today I'm using Greek yogurt, but you can use whatever your favorite yogurt is. I want to make sure that it's not too high in sugar. So if you look on the back of the label, you'll see total sugars. This one is 5 grams per serving. So you don't want to go any higher than 20. You could use a flavored yogurt or vanilla yogurt or yogurt with fruit in it, but you want to try to keep the sugar values low because we want to make this a nice healthy snack or a healthy treat for you. So yogurt is one of the first things that we'll need. We're also going to need some oats. So I'm using quick oats, organic, Trader Joe's, one of my favorites. And you could also use rice cereal, like if you have popped rice cereal, you could use any kind of cereal that you like. Flax seeds in your granola as well. Just keep it so it's something that you think you're going to want to eat. So we've got oats. Then we have sunflower seeds. So these are salted, and we're going to add a little bit more salt to the granola, but it's more flavorful to start with the salted sunflower seeds. And these are also toasted, so you don't have to worry about roasting them. But if you only have raw, you just want to put them in the oven for about 5 minutes on a baking sheet at 350. So hi, I've got some of my favorite gang on. I've got the Schmo family, Mackenzie, Zoe, Jonah. I've got Coco, and I've got, I think it's E is probably cooking today. So thank you so much for joining us. Sunflower seeds, and you can use sliced almonds. I've printed the recipe on the Facebook page, so in case you need to refer to it, you can always look at that as well. But I put almonds on the recipe, but I'm going to use pistachios because I like them. So if there's a nut that you prefer, peanut or walnuts or what have you, whatever nuts that you have or that you like. We're going to also need to have almond butter. Once again, if you don't like almond butter, you can use any kind of nut butter. Cashew butter would be delicious, peanut butter if you like. So almond butter, and creamy is preferred, but if you have the kind that has chunks in it and the texture, that's going to go well as well. All right, then we are also going to use honey. If you don't have honey, you could use maple syrup. You could also use agave syrup, but we've got honey. And then we have a little bit of salt that we're going to put in there and whatever kind of fresh fruit you want to put on top. I'm doing strawberries today because they're in season, and I'm really excited that it's berry season again. But you could use blueberries, blackberries, cut up apples, peaches, all different kinds of varieties of fruit that you can use in a parfait. One thing that really cool is if you make it seasonal and make it look like a holiday that you're celebrating, like 4th of July. You could do blueberries, strawberries, and then the white of the yogurt's going to make it look like a really delicious, spirited holiday dessert. You can also, if you want to make it into more of a dessert, you could use frozen yogurt instead of regular yogurt. So there's a lot of different varieties that are happening here. And then for equipment, you're going to want to have a big bowl to mix your granola in. Healthy, easy, no-bake granola. A spoon to mix, and a big pan to mix your peanut butter or almond butter or cashew butter and honey in. You'll also need measuring spoons and a quarter measuring. And I have like a little small spatula and a little bit of cooking spray. I'm going to show you what you can do with that later, but if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. And a nice wooden spoon for stirring your nut mixture with the honey together. So are we ready to get started? Are we all hand washed up? All of our ingredients. Oh, one more thing, we need a baking sheet. And I forgot to take my baking sheet out. And if you have parchment paper, you might want to put parchment paper on top of your baking sheet as well, because it makes it easier to clean, and your parents will really appreciate that. So let me just grab my baking sheet and parchment paper very quickly. So it's going to look like granola, but this is just to spread it out so it can form into little clusters. And then again, parchment on that so that you can keep it from being too messy when you wash it. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to need is your bowl and your oats. So we have 1 cup of oats. Now you could double this recipe if you wanted to have extra granola for later on. It's a great snack. So we've got 1 cup. So I have a quarter cup measure, so I'm going to do this 4 times. So there you go. There's actually that was 1 cup that was left in my oatmeal can. So in the bottom of the bowl. Then we're going to put a quarter cup of sunflower seeds or whatever seeds, nuts that you like to use. So what did I do with my measuring cup? I had it once. All right, quarter cup. Put that in the bowl. Quarter cup of slivered almonds. Now, if you don't have slivered nuts, then you could also, sorry, I put that right in front of the camera. You could also just chop your nuts up a little bit. So when you put your nuts in quarter cup, this is about a quarter cup, on a board, you can just cut them with your shell, make them smaller pieces. But if you don't want to do that, or you already have slivered nuts, then that will be fine too. So you can make them smaller if you choose to do so. And then put those all together in your bowl. So now we have oats, sunflower seeds, pistachios. We want to just incorporate them a little bit, because when we put our nut butter in, that's going to be the glue that holds everything together. And if if all your nuts are on one side and your oats are on the other side, it's going to be really hard to stir it all together, incorporate it all. So the honey and the nut butter is what's going to make this form into little clumps or clusters. So we can put that aside. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our nut butter in a pan. So have an adult turn on the stovetop with your pan. And the thing I wanted to show you that you can do to make this a little bit easier to measure is you take your measuring cup and you spray it with just a little cooking spray. So I put my almond butter in there. Instead of sticking in there and having to scoop it all out, I can just put it back and put it into the pan. It'll slide right out. So almond butter sometimes has oil on top. You want to incorporate it. some granola recipes have butter in them or oil. This one, the almond butter, is what's making it nice and flavorful and unctuous. So I'm gonna get my 1/4 cup inside my sprayed measuring cup, and I'm gonna put that into my saute pan. So here's my saute pan. This goes right in. Oh, look at that. It's sliding right out, just the way I do. If you have a little bit left behind, you can just use a flexible spatula to scoop it out. Good. So now I've got all of my nut butter out. And then I need 2 tablespoons of honey. And I can do the same thing with my honey that I did with my nut butter. Spray my spoon, just a tiny bit. This is honey with a little honeycomb in it. My daughter likes that. And let's just wait for the honey to come out. Kind of nice if you have a squeezy thing. I might have to scoop in here and get it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. But the heat of the oven's going to make this more liquid. So 2 tablespoons of honey. And then you're gonna grab a wooden spoon. It's the best thing for this because a silicone spatula might burn with the high heat that this mixture is going to create in the pan. So, got my wooden spoon. I hold on to my handle of my pot because I always want to make sure that my pot isn't going to fly off the handle. And then I'm just going to elbow up, stir that together until it's all combined and warm. And it doesn't take long at all. While that's warming up, I'm going to say hello to Carson and Kennedy are watching today. And this is it. No more than just a minute on the heat to make it nice and liquidy. Then after you have that all incorporated, make sure it's smooth. You don't want it chunky, lumpy. Then you're going to go back to taking your oats and nut mixture. And again, you could do anything that you want to do with this oats and nut mixture. You could add in dried fruit. My daughter would love it if I added in chocolate chips. Mini ones would be perfect in this. So use your creativity. Own it. Own this recipe. You'll be able to do this all by yourself. Then you're going to put that nut butter and honey mixture in. After you have your pan all scraped out, you're going to start to incorporate it. So just stir, stir, stir. It's going to look a little dry in the beginning. It's going to clump into clumps here and there. You just got to keep going. Try to get all the dry mixture incorporated into the buttery honey part of it. If it doesn't look like your oats are going to get covered, you can always adjust this recipe. Put a little bit more honey in. Put some maple syrup in. Mine's coming together really nicely. You see, I'm starting to get clumps, which I really like, that crunchy bit of granola. I have this for breakfast with just right on, sprinkled on top of yogurt, but we're gonna make it look fancier today with parfait. While we're making this, if you could tell me what kind of fruit you're gonna use for your parfait. I've got strawberries today, but I'm sure you all have a lot of different ideas of what would be delicious for your fruit. Now, once you have this incorporated, you see how I have all these clusters formed, we're gonna go ahead and spread them out on the baking sheet. And then they just take 10 minutes to cool, and we'll be able to use this in our parfait. Now, I wanna make sure I get every little bit off my spoon. What if I'm allergic to nut butter? If you could have coconut oil, you could try that instead, or you could use regular butter instead of peanut butter. So one thing I forgot to put in my mixture is salt. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of a sprinkle of salt over this now. I already have salt for my nuts, but I'm just gonna give this a little bit of extra. Today I'm using kosher salt. So kosher salt is a coarse salt that comes in a box. It's very consistent. So sea salt can have different levels of salinity or saltiness, but kosher salt always tastes the same. All right, so I've got fresh berries. It's an exciting time of the year to go to the farmer's market because they have so many delicious, beautiful fresh berries. And that's the next step that we're gonna take, is making our topping. So tell me what kind of berries you're using today, or what kind of fruit you're using today. Jill's using blueberries, strawberries, and cherries, so that's gonna look very festive. That would have been a perfect Memorial Day treat. Bananas are great. I love bananas. All right, so the next thing you wanna do is you're gonna grab a clear glass. So you wanna make sure that you can see the beautiful parfait layers in between. So any kind of glass will do, or a glass bowl, just so you can make that beautiful presentation of it. Let's see, we've all got bananas and cherries, bananas, blackberries, and blueberries. Oh, that's gonna be quite delicious. So I'm gonna cut strawberries, and you can cut along with me. So when I cut strawberries, the first thing I wanna do is cut off the stem and what's called the hull, or the shoulder. And if the shoulder is white, you wanna cut all that white off because it's gonna taste very bland. But this one doesn't have a white shoulder. It's also just red all through. So I'm gonna cut off the top. And one thing that's really important when you're cutting with a knife is to find a flat side. So now that I've cut off the top, I have my flat side that can go right straight down on my board, and I can safely hold my claw grip and cut this into slices. And I'm gonna make them about 1/4 inch thick, because the thicker they are, the less opportunity I'll have to make those pretty layers in my parfait. And I'm not gonna need all my strawberries. And by the way, we wanna make sure that we have washed our strawberries in advance, which I have already washed mine. I'm not gonna make all of them. I'm just gonna make enough so I can make 2 parfaits. My husband loves parfaits, yogurt parfaits. He works in the film industry. So on set, they always have a parfait bar, so you can set up your own yogurt parfait. It's a great breakfast, great snack, satisfying lunch. And we've made it healthier by checking our yogurt to make sure that it doesn't have sugars higher than 20%. And we've also made it healthy by making our own granola and keeping the preservatives and extra sugars out. So when you buy granola at the store, you might find that it has really high sugar content, preservatives, that sort of thing. And you could see how easy it was. It took probably 5 minutes to make our granola. All right, so I'm just gonna I'm just gonna cut 4 strawberries. When you cut strawberries in advance, they start to get slimy. Any kind of fruit or vegetable does that. Then to make your parfait, you start with your clear glass or bowl, about 2 tablespoons of yogurt, depending on the size of what you're making. We're gonna do layers of strawberries. I'm gonna have mine so they're tipped up so you can see them on the side, but you can do them however you wanna layer them. And then you're gonna sprinkle the granola that's cooled. So here's my cooled granola. Take a spatula and I can break that up, or I can even use my fingers. But I've got some nutty clumps that are gonna be just fantastic. So I'm gonna take a spoon, put about a tablespoon of granola in, and then I just repeat. And I can repeat using all different kinds of layering methods, designs. I'm gonna go with another 2 tablespoons of yogurt. Mine's Greek yogurt, 2% fat. I like a little fat in my dairy products. And this time I'm gonna go with the tips down in between let's see how that looks. I'm just experimenting. So then I have here more granola. I love that these are as pretty to look at as they are fun to eat. You could layer honey in between your layers if you like. Maple syrup, agave syrup. Again, you could do all different kinds of flavor combinations. Let me get a little bit, I'm gonna push this down a little bit so I can see that layer of white. The thing you also want to try to avoid is getting it on the rim of your glass so it looks nice and clean. And then I'm going to do one more layer of berries. This time I'm going to layer them so I make a complete layer on top. So that way I can see the berries when I look down at it. And then another granola, fresh, easy, no-bake granola. Now this granola, you can, like I said, you can double it and you can put it in an airtight container and eat it the next 3 days. But that's my parfait today. So I can't wait to dig in. I can't wait to see your creations, the granola that you created and the yogurt parfaits that you designed. And then I hope that you enjoy them as a delicious late breakfast, early lunch. I'm going to sign off because I'm all done. If you have any questions, you can type them in the comments. I'll get right back to you. I hope that you enjoy your delicious, easy yogurt parfaits. And remember, you can rewind and start watching at any point of this live Facebook. You can also watch it later if it's not, time isn't right for today. I want to say congratulations to all of you that have gotten through the last few weeks of distance learning. Here in California, our last day is next Wednesday. Maybe you have already finished your distance learning for the year, but I want to say congratulations. Congratulations to our seniors 2020. If you have a senior or you are a senior, I hope that this end of the school year is fantastic. Again, I'm Chef Diane. I'm from Farmbox Kids. Thank you for joining my cook along today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.